What's up, guys? This is MMA John. You can call me G. Before we get into that UFC London breakdown, let's recap some of these fights we just saw. Starting off with Pietro Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. With this fight, guys, Pietro Rodriguez beats Sam Hughes again. This time around, she really couldn't implement her grappling, her takedowns, but ultimately, she was the more aggressive fighter in the stand-up. She was definitely aggressive with her strikes, landing the better shots, and Sam Hughes just didn't look that good out there. Shout out to you, Pietro Rodriguez, for getting that decision win. Luan Lacerda versus Hector Sosa. Now I'm going to go ahead and say I had Hector Sosa to win here. But Hector Sosa, that performance wasn't really impressive. Unfortunately, you didn't do as good as I thought you were going to do. Luan Lacerda definitely went in there with a game plan to try to take you down. Unfortunately, he was only able to take you down about 4 times out of the many attempts that he tried. Hector Sosa definitely defended those takedowns and implemented his game plan of landing the better shots and landing the more impactful shots. Ultimately winning 2 out of the 3 rounds, in my opinion, getting that decision win. But again, Hector Sosa, I wasn't really impressed in your performance, but shout out to you for getting that W. Next fight up, we have Bia Mesquita versus Movsar Evloev. Now this one, I had Bia Mesquita to win by submission, if I wasn't mistaken, in the second round. But she ended up getting the submission win in the very first round. She came out of this fight untouched. Movsar Evloev really couldn't do anything against Bia Mesquita. Bia Mesquita showed levels in the grappling department, and she got that submission win very easily. Shout out to you, Bia Mesquita. You look great out there. Brad Tavares versus Eric Anders. Now, in this fight, I had Brad Tavares to edge out a decision, but unfortunately, he couldn't get it done. Eric Anders came in there, dropped him, landed the better shots, mixed up his striking and his grappling in this fight, ultimately getting that decision victory. He ended up retiring this fight. Eric Anders, I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Shout out to you for getting this victory. Elijah Oki versus Manuel Souza. Now, this one early on, I thought Oki was going to pull through and win the decision here. But unfortunately, he gassed out. Manuel Souza stayed composed, and he landed a knockout victory in the 3rd round. Now, this one was ultimately a good fight, a great, entertaining fight. Manuel Souza, you impressed me. I thought Oki had you. I'm not going to lie. But shout out to you for getting that knockout victory. Elijah Smith versus Su Young Yu. Now, this one surprised me. I did say this was going to be a tough decision victory for Elijah Smith, but I was wrong. He ended up getting that submission victory in the 2nd round, and that alone was shocking to me. First round, Elijah Smith came in there, was looking solid, but then he started getting taken down relentlessly. Su Young Yu was implementing that grappling, wasn't giving him any time to break off the grappling exchanges, ultimately losing that first round. But once that 2nd round started, Elijah Smith started just throwing bombs, landed one good shot, dropped him, and immediately got his back and submitted him right away. Elijah Smith, that submission was surprising. Nonetheless, you look good out there. Now, this is a prospect you need to be watching. Give him a nice top 15 guy now after this one. This should be a guy that can definitely climb up the rankings and get you those W's. Vitor Petrino versus Steven Asplin. Now, I had Vitor Petrino to finish Steven Asplin in this fight by sub or by knockout, but unfortunately, he got that decision win instead. This fight was hell of a war, hell of entertaining. Vitor Petrino landed the more impactful shots, definitely did the more damage this fight. But shout out to you, Steven Asplin, for staying in there. You definitely got a chin. You definitely can compete with those top heavyweight guys in this division. And shout out to you, man. I can't wait to see you again. Definitely an entertaining fighter. You could have got a job done here, but you gassed out a little at the end. But again, pretty impressed. Great war. Great fight overall. Chris Curtis versus Mordebek Orabai. I'm not going to waste your time. The caveman looking dude took him down about 30 times. Chris Curtis couldn't do anything. He got ragdolled. Sorry, Chris Curtis. Orabai, I guess, good win. Charles Johnson versus Bruno Silva. Now, this one was a tight fight. I personally had Charles Johnson winning all 3 rounds, but I understand some people didn't. Some people had Bruno Silva actually winning this fight in general. But unfortunately for me, I had Charles Johnson doing the decision, and he got that decision victory. I think he landed better shots, the more impactful shots, stayed composed, and landed the more damage. You can clearly see it in the faces of both guys. So shout out to you, Charles Johnson, for getting that W. Ion Cutelaba versus Umar Sy. Now in this fight, I had Umar Sy to get it done, but unfortunately, Ion Cutelaba comes in here and makes easy work on Umar's side. Umar, you gotta do better, man. They're gonna cut your ass from the UFC very soon. That's like now back-to-back L's, and this one, they made it look easy. Shout out to you, Ion Cutelaba, for getting that sub. Umar, man, contra days, buddy. Marwan Rahiki versus Harry Hardwick. Now I had Marwan Rahiki to get it done by knockout, and he did just that. Harry Hardwick, I'm just low-key surprised who ended up quitting on the stool due to that broken jaw. Usually fighters stick it out and they end up finishing the fight. But unfortunately, you threw in that towel with that. Shout out to you, Marwan Rahiki, for getting that knockout victory. Andre Fili versus Jose Delgado. Now this fight was close. I myself gave it to Jose Delgado, but honestly, it could have gone either way, depending on how did you see those Andre Fili takedowns versus Jose Delgado's overall striking game. Jose Delgado definitely mixed it up, and this is why I think he got the overall nod. He landed the better shots, landed the more shots. Andre Fili definitely landed the takedowns, landed like 4 takedowns to just 1. But unfortunately, judges don't really care. If you don't do anything with those takedowns, you're most likely not going to win those rounds. Now, Jose Delgado, like I said, landed the more impactful shots, looked like the more active fighter, was pressuring Andre Fili, and he got that decision win. I think I had Jose Delgado to knock him out, but unfortunately, he couldn't get it done. Nonetheless, though, Jose Delgado, you got the dub. Good win. Amanda Lemos versus Jillian Robinson. Now, we're not surprised here. Now, I think I had Jillian Robinson to win by sub or decision in this fight, and she won a decision. She took her down multiple times, landed the better shots on the ground, as we expected, and just got that decision victory. Now, the main event, Josh Emmett versus Kevin Vallejos. This one, fireworks. Kevin Vallejos, you are definitely a prospect to watch. I cannot wait for you to get that rematch against Gene Silva. I think we all want to see it. Kevin Vallejos came in here against Josh Emmett and destroyed him in the very first round. Josh Emmett had no answers, and we got to give him props because people don't do this to Josh Emmett. I know Yusuf Salau came in there and finished him in the first round via sub, but no one goes out there and finishes Josh Emmett by knockout in that fashion in the very first round. Shout out to you, Kevin Vallejos, for getting that done. Now that we're done with the recap, we can move on to the UFC London breakdown. And we're going to start off with the very first fight of the night, Melissa Mullins versus Luana Carolina. Now with this fight, guys, I'm going to move pretty quickly. I don't really care for this fight. And to be quite honest with you, there's some other fights in this card that I can care less about. I'm going to go ahead and lean Melissa Mullins to get it done. I see her using her grappling in this fight to take Luana Carolina down and earn some control time and points on the ground. Don't get me wrong, I know Luana Carolina is definitely better in the stand-up department compared to Melissa Mullins, but I don't think it's going to be that far off. I think Melissa Mullins will be able to hang with Luana Carolina at least a little bit in the stand-up department, enough where she can use her stand-up to take Luana Carolina down, control her on the mat, and gain some control time. So I'm not really going to waste your time. I can really care less about this fight. Melissa Mullins will definitely get it done by decision. Next fight up, we got Chanel Dyer versus Ravena Oliveira. And this is another one where I can care less about this fight. Chanel Dyer, definitely not at minus 400 or whatever she is, against Ravena Oliveira. Chanel Dyer should definitely come in here, land the better strikes, implement her better game plan, and get it done. But don't get me wrong, both of these girls suck. Please don't touch this fight. I can care less about this, John. Chanel Dyer by decision or by knockout. Next fight up, we got Shamrock versus Abdul Karim Al-Sahadi. Now this one's going to be a tough matchup to predict. Al-Sahadi hasn't fought in 2 years. His last time he fought, he looked solid in the first couple rounds, and then he ultimately got knocked out in the third. As for Shamrock, he lost a decision his last time out. Both looked pretty decent, I guess you could say. But unfortunately, this fight's a little tricky to predict. Right now, I low-key want Shamrock to win, but does he have the capabilities to get this win? That's what you got to ask yourself. Abdul Karim Sohadi has only lost really by getting knocked out. And Shamrock doesn't really have that knockout power, despite how physical and big he looks. He's more a submission guy, can definitely take you to the ground and submit you. But like I said, this one's a little hard to predict. I'm going to go ahead and lean Shamrock to get it done, but take this pick with a grain of salt. I'm low-key biased towards Shamrock right now. Abdul Karim Sohadi might be a better overall fighter. You got to wonder what he's been doing in this 2-year layoff now. Has he been improving his game? He's still young. I think he can get it done here as well. Definitely a low confidence pick when I pick Shamrock, but give me Shamrock to get it done in his part of the world by finish, honestly. I think he's going to knock him out or submit him in this fight. But again, I could be all wrong. Abdul Karim Sohadi can definitely edge out a decision of victory in this fight. But who knows? Take my pick with a grain of salt, like I said. Give me Shamrock to get it done by finish. Next fight up, we got Louis Sutherland versus Brando Perisic. Now, another fight that I don't really care for. Both these guys are heavyweight punchers, can carry that one-punch power. So please be careful. I expect this fight to be a sloppy stand-up fight, and one guy's going to get caught. So with that being said, you need Brando Perisic to get it done. But again, please be careful. Any of these guys can knock out each other. Both these fighters suck low-key. Sit back and enjoy. Give me Brandon Perisic to win by knockout. Next fight up, we got Antonio Tricoli versus Mantis Kondratovicius. I had to look at that name. I couldn't just say it off the top of my head. That name is long as fuck. Anyway, Mantis Kondratovicius, I expect him to win here. Antonio Tricoli is trash. Let's be real. Let him stick to his professional gambling at this point. Professional poker player. He's not a fighter. Mantis should get it done. I think he's going to knock him out. I think he's going to take him down on the ground. I think he can do anything with him, honestly. So with that being said, I'm not going to waste your time with this pick. Mantis, how the fuck you pronounce his name again? Mantis Kondratovicius should get it done by ground and pound finish, in my honest opinion. Tricoli, trash. You guys know who Tricoli is. And for those who don't, go watch tape. All of his fucking fights are L's. So, screw that guy. He might get cut this fight. Give me Mantis to get it done by knockout. Next fight up, we got Mario Pinto versus Felipe Franco. Now, I feel bad for Felipe Franco. I don't think he's ready at all. I think Mario Pinto should definitely be a minus 1,000 in this fight. Mario Pinto is going to come in here and knock him out in the first round. Under half a round, to be quite honest with you. I know this spot was reserved for Mick Parkins, and I think that would have been definitely a better fight. I know Felipe Franco's stepping in on short notice, and I'm going to be honest with you, it's definitely going to look like short notice. Mario Pinto should get it done by knockout. Felipe Franco, you lost against Freddie Vidal, and that guy's low-key trash, let's be real. Felipe Franco, you're definitely not going to win here. Mario Pinto is going to take your head off. Give Mario Pinto to win by knockout. Next fight up, we got Nathaniel Wood versus Lozane Keita. Now this one should be a banger of a fight. Lozane Keita, known for his explosive power and knockouts in the regional scene, versus Nathaniel Wood, nice gritty veteran from the UFC who got wins over the Jose Delgado recently. And Jose Delgado's one of the best prospects in the UFC currently. That being said, guys, I gotta lean Nathaniel Wood this time against Lozane Keita. I think this is gonna be a similar fight to the Jose Delgado fight. I know arguably a lot of people had him losing against Jose Delgado, but he got the decision win in that fight. I think in this fight, it's gonna be similar. He's gonna have to try to avoid those big punches from Lozane Keita. that explosiveness from Lerone Murphy has to be neutralized. And how do you do that? You have to take him down. Nathaniel Wood has to take him down and control him on the ground and land the bigger shots while down there. I haven't seen much of Lerone Murphy's takedown defense, especially against top talent like Nathaniel Wood. So I'm curious, is he going to be tested this fight? I think it is. I think Nathaniel Wood is going to take him down 3 to 4 times this fight, control him on the ground, and win a decision here. Don't get me wrong, I am scared of Lerone Murphy's power. We have seen Nathaniel Wood drop before, but I think Nathaniel Wood, being the veteran, having the more experience, is definitely going to avoid those big shots and implement his game plan. So give me Nathaniel Wood to get it done by decision here. It's going to be a tough fight. Keita has to land that big shot and knock out Wood. Let's see what happens. Next fight up, we got Mason Jones versus Axel Sola. Now this one should be a great fight, a great war, and definitely an exciting fight to watch. Axel Sola, known for his knockout power and his great hand speed, definitely got some knockout wins in the regional scene. Versus Mason Jones, grappler for the most part. Definitely got some decent wins like Balaji Oki and Jeremy Stevens, if I last recall, in the UFC. So currently now rocking 2-0 versus a new guy, Axel Sola, coming in to try to knock him out and take the lights out. For this fight, guys, I'm going to go ahead and lean Mason Jones to get it done. I think Mason Jones is going to take down Axel Sola and cancel out that striking and the knockout power that Axel Sola has. Because I'm going to be quite honest with you, Axel Sola definitely has better hands than Mason Jones, in my honest opinion. Mason Jones definitely has to implement his pressure, his groundwork, control him against the cage, and probably implement 7 to 10 takedown attempts on this fight, to be quite honest with you. I think Mason Jones does exactly that. It might not be easy, but ultimately, I think Mason Jones avoids those big strikes, takes Axel Sola down, controls him against the cage, against that control time, like I said, and ultimately wins a decision here while implementing that damage on the ground and those submission attempts on the ground. So give me Mason Jones to win by decision. Let's find out, we got Curtis Campbell versus Danny Silva. Now, this one's going to be another banger. Danny Silva, a veteran in the game, against a new guy in Curtis Campbell. Wow, UFC, I expected you to give Curtis Campbell somewhat of an easier opponent, but you guys give him Danny Silva. You guys must think highly of this man and want to climb this guy up the rankings pretty quickly. But Danny Silva isn't going to make this an easy fight. Danny Silva, in my opinion, is definitely the better stand-up out of the two. Can definitely hurt Curtis Campbell in this fight. But I got to lean with Curtis Campbell. Definitely looked good in the Dana White Contender Series. Definitely looked promising. He's actually one of my favorite prospects coming off that season of Dana White Contender Series. And I think he gets it done here. I think he implements his grappling against Danny Silva and avoids those big shots from Danny Silva, ultimately winning a decision here. Don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be a walk in the park. Danny Silva can definitely edge out a decision here as well. But I got to go with I got to go with Curtis Campbell in this fight to get it done by decision. He's going to take him down multiple times, outwork him. The dude got heart. He's going to land some good shots against Danny Silva and simply outwork Danny Silva to get that decision win here. So, enough said. Give me Curtis Campbell to get it done by decision. Next fight up, we got Roman Dolidze versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Now, Roman Dolidze coming off that L against Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. And he hasn't fought ever since. That's been since August 9th, 2025. He hasn't fought ever since. He got ragdolled by Anthony Hernandez. But this time around, he doesn't have to worry about none of that wrestling stuff because he's facing Christian Leroy Duncan, primarily a striker in the UFC game here. Christian Leroy Duncan, though, coming off like multiple wins in his recent success, beating Andre Pulev, Eric Anders, and Marco Tulio. Now, don't get me wrong, none of those guys are really like star-stated names, but maybe Marco Tulio, you got to give him credit for that one. but the other ones, they were average. In this fight, guys, tough matchup. You gotta wonder what type of fighter we're gonna get in Roman Dolidze, sorry, when he comes back. He has definitely fought the better talent. Names like Marvin Vettori, Kevin Holland, and such and such. So this one's definitely a hard fight to predict. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I see this fight being a stand-up affair for the most part. And when you ask yourself who has the better stand-up, you gotta lean Christian Leroy Duncan in this fight. He just looked pretty sharp recently. He could definitely avoid those big shots, and I like his striking defense, honestly. He isn't really known to be getting hit with big-ass shots, and for that reason, I think he gets the job done here. Christian Leroy Duncan is definitely going to land the better shots, the more impactful shots, avoid the takedowns from Roman, avoid the big shots from Roman, and I think Christian Leroy Duncan wins here a decision. You mean Christian Leroy Duncan to win 30-27, makes it pretty easy in my eyes. Next fight, we got Ivo Baranovsky versus Austin Lane. Now, I'm not going to waste your time. Ivo Baranovsky should get the knockout win here. The only thing I'm scared of is the height difference and the reach difference. Other than that, Austin Lane's pretty trash. Ivo Baranovsky, pretty solid Dana White Contender Series prospect, and definitely has power in his hands, definitely has explosibility, and can definitely get it done. So give me Ivo Baranovsky to knock out Austin Lane's bum ass. Next fight up, we got Michael Venom Page versus Sam Patterson. Now, I'm a little bit scared due to Sam Patterson's recent success. He's been definitely looking good, definitely finishing everybody, but Michael Venom Page is just a veteran in the game, and he should honestly walk Sam Patterson in this fight if he avoids the takedowns and avoids that control that Sam Patterson's going to try to implement. Because let's be honest, when it comes to the stand-up, Michael Venom Page is light years, levels ahead of Sam Patterson. Michael Venom Page definitely is the better striker in my opinion. And Sam Patterson's the better grappler. But is the fight even going to go to the ground? I don't think so. With that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and pick Michael Venom Page to knock out Sam Patterson in this fight. I don't think Sam Patterson is going to be able to implement those takedowns. And when it comes to the stand-up, let's be honest with you, who outpoints Michael Venom Page? Ask yourself that question. Who can outpoint Michael Venom Page in that crazy style that he got? I don't think no one can. So give me Michael Venom Page to get it done by knockout. And obviously, if he doesn't get the knockout, he's probably going to win 29-20, if not a 30-27 decision. So give me Michael Venom Page to get it done in this fight. Next fight up, we got Luke Riley versus Michael Aswell Jr. here. Now, this one should be a great war. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Michael Aswell is no slouch. I know he got some L's in this record, but let's be honest, he is a great, gritty fighter. And I see this fight being a stand-up war. And it shouldn't be an easy task for either of them. But with that being said, since I said it's going to be a stand-up war, I got no choice but to lean Luke Riley, the guy that has mad power in his hands and can knock out anyone with one shot. So, give me Luke Riley to get it done against Michael Aswell by knockout. Don't get me wrong, I know Luke Riley is a young prospect, pretty unproven. And Michael has definitely been in there with some gritty guys, some gritty wars. He could definitely survive against Luke Riley and maybe edge out a decision here. But that's going to be pretty hard to ask considering that Luke Riley is fighting in his home turf over there. And everyone expects him to get that knockout victory. So give me Luke Riley to get it done by decision or by knockout. Now we move on to the main event of the evening. Movsar Evloev versus Lerone Murphy. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Ask yourself, who's the better overall fighter? Lerone Murphy is, right? Cool. He has the better striking, decent grappling, versus Movsar, who's just a pure grappler type of guy. I'm a little scared in this fight, man. I know Lerone Murphy's fighting in his home turf too. And like I said, he's more of the complete fighter. And Movsar, good wrestler, can definitely hold Lerone Murphy down for quite some time on the ground. But you got to do that for 25 minutes, man. And I think Lerone Murphy is planning for exactly that. I think Lerone Murphy can outstrike him on the feet, most definitely. Can he avoid some of those takedowns? I think he can. You guys see where I'm going with this. I gotta lean Lerone Murphy to get it done here by knockout or decision. I think he can get it done in his hometown, guys. I really don't know. I think Movsar, is a bit boring. We all know this. We got to see what type of judges we're going to see, considering that Lerone Murphy is in his home turf. If he lands the better shot and avoids multiple takedowns, let's just hypothetically say he gets taken down 5 times out of the 12 attempts with maybe like less than 5 minutes of control time. I know that's a lot because obviously it's 25 minutes. I mean, that should be very little considering it's 25 minutes, but I can see it happening. And if Lerone Murphy can avoid that and only be taken down a few times while landing the better shots and possibly offensively, try to take down Movsar if possible, he can get it done here. He needs to definitely use all his tools to get the victory here against Movsar. And I think he can in his hometown. He's just been looking pretty great lately. And Movsar, you know the deal with him. He fights like once a year, and all his fights go to decision. So, you gotta ask yourself, do we even want him to win as a fan? Let's be real. Despite the odds, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take Lerone Murphy to get it done by decision or by knockout in his home turf. And he's gonna go on to face Volkanovski for the title. And that is it, boys. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you guys in a couple days for that recap when we finish Lerone Murphy beating Movsar Evloev, whatever his last name is.